Welcome to the podcast, Kill Complacency. Here we inspire intentional living by motivating others to handle hard better. And here's your host, Marty Hofmann.
Hey, I read a book recently called Be Your Future Self Now by Dr. Benjamin Hardy. It's a great book. It's a mindset book, and it's a book that gets us out of our present thinking, self-gratifying ourselves today, and delaying that for the future. But more than that, it's also about setting the goals and priorities right so that your future is awesome and amazing and you're not stuck in it. I've read a lot of different concepts similar to this. Stephen Covey has it in his 4-quadrant diagram of urgent and important, non-urgent, not important diagram. I could get into that sometime, but it's very, very similar to what kind of he pitches in the intro. But I wanted to talk a little bit about it. But first of all, I wanted to read an excerpt from the introduction. This is David Letterman's show in the 90s where he interviews comedian Jerry Seinfeld. Jerry says, "I saw an ad. I love this concept of no payments until June. People are like, oh, June. It will never be June. They buy things and say to themselves, the guy in June, he'll have the money somehow. And I do that with myself. Like last night, I think, well, it's night. I'm having a good time. I don't want to go to sleep. I'm night guy. Getting up after 5 hours of sleep, that's morning guy's problem. Let him worry about that. I'm night guy. I've got to party. Then we get up after only 5 hours of sleep. We're cranky. We're exhausted. Night guy always screws morning guy. That's morning guys. There's nothing morning guy can do to get back at night guy. The only thing morning guy can do is try to oversleep so many times that night guy loses his job and then night guy doesn't have any more money to go out." And I've thought a lot about this, how we often do not want to live up to our future, and we would rather delay it. I think this is a big problem right now in our culture. You see it with millennials and Gen Zers just trying to be present, and there's certainly a balance there where we do need to be present. But I think we also need to be thinking about our future and the consequences of living self-gratifying lives today. What kind of effect does that have on our future? And I think that there's so many ways that we can apply this and carry it over. And there's so many ways that we sabotage our future self because we're so focused on here and now and today. I was thinking about it in regards to credit card debt. You know, it's easy to swipe that plastic and we think, that's night guy's problem or that's morning guy's problem. We'll pay that in June. We'll pay that in July. And it adds up and adds up and adds up. I think you can see this with school loans. So many people go to college not knowing why, but they can get this loan, so why not? They don't have to pay it off until they get out. They don't have to start paying it till they get out. And now they're 40 years old and they still got a $60,000 school bill, and interest on it is accumulating and eating them up, and it's hard for them to get ahead. And it's all because it's often because they went and did that thing in the present, but they weren't thinking of their future. I think we do it with food. We eat the sweets, we eat the donuts, we eat the Little Debbies, whatever. We know when we eat them, we shouldn't be eating them. I did some math this week. I used to love to eat ice cream. Every night I'd put the kids to bed and I'd get out I guess it'd be like 1.5 liters, the little box of ice cream. And I'd get that thing out. A lot of times I didn't even use a bowl because I didn't want to limit myself. I just wanted to eat it with a spoon. Do you know if you eat one of those a week, they're 48 ounces. If you eat one of those a week, you just multiply 48 ounces times 50 weeks. I think you get 2,400 ounces, and you divide that by 16. You find out that you back in the day, a couple of years ago, I was consuming 150 pounds of ice cream a week. 150 pounds of ice cream a year. And it was because I was living in the present. I just wanted to get fat and satisfy my tongue and make myself feel good. It wasn't good for me. And that has consequences that my future self has to deal with. But that's another way we sabotage our future self. Alcohol, substance abuse. Here's another one I do myself in, and that's having a critical conversation. So many relationship type of things we can head off quickly if we just have that conversation and say, hey, so-and-so, we need to talk. I'm not one that really enjoys conflict, so I tend to have those conversations in my head and pretend they're not there. But how much better off would my future self be if I would just have those conversations up front? My wife would be happier. My kids would understand expectations and whatnot. And my employees would not, they would understand what's expected of them. But that's another way we doom our future self. We're too worried about the present and offending people today to not have that critical conversation and be able to head things off. So that's another one. Another one is forgiveness. If you can learn to forgive in the present, the opposite of forgiveness is bitterness. Bitterness can grow and grow and grow into a monster, and it creates walls, and we don't even realize it. So learn to be nice to your future self by forgiving quickly. Exercise, obviously, would be another one. We don't want to exercise. We get soggy and fat. We get out of shape. We can't breathe. And a lot of times we don't deal with this until something really big in life happens. Maybe we have a heart attack. The doctor tells us you've got to do something. And that's when we quit smoking, or we start eating right, or we get in shape. Why didn't we just do it sooner than that? Why didn't we think about our future self sooner? So as we consider killing complacency and living intentionally, I just want to encourage you guys to be thinking about your future self. Read books like Benjamin Hardy's Be Your Future Self Now. That's just a little bit of a few thoughts I have from the book. That's not even hardly touching the book. He's got 7 truths for your future self. Your future drives your present. If you set goals and think about things and line them out, what you do today will what you want to do tomorrow will affect what you do today. And so your future drives your present. If you want to be a millionaire, you're going to do certain things today to be a millionaire. If you want to be a leader, you're probably going to be reading some John Maxwell books. You're going to be doing some things. If you want to be able to bench press 100 pounds, you're going to be having to hit the gym. So your future drives your present. Truth number 1. Truth number 2, your future self is different than you expect. You guys should do this. You guys should all record what you think you'll be in 1 year, 5 years, 10 years from now, and then listen to it. One of the opening illustrations in this book is who we know on YouTube as Mr. Beast, and how he did this at age 17. He did a 6-month, 1 year, I think 3 year, 5 year, and 10 year. And he talks to himself, and he talks about what he hopes to be, and then he scheduled those to go out on his YouTube channel. It will blow, you guys can look that up. It'll blow your mind where he got to, because he communicated it. He asked for it. He spoke it. And then he went out there and became that. But it is to illustrate this point, specifically with Mr. Beast, his future was a lot bigger than he expected. And that's the thing I would say. If we pursue our future selves, we can do so much more than we think we can. Your future self is a Pied Piper. I kind of talked about this. Pied Piper's got to get paid. He's going to get paid. The story of that, the people in the village had these rats. They wanted them gone. Pied Piper came in, got him go out. He said, now you guys need to pay me. And the people said no. So the Pied Piper got everybody's kids and went and buried him in a hill outside of town because the Pied Piper always gets paid. Kind of going back to the opening illustration of, night guy, morning guy. We like to delay our gratification, and we like to not think about it and not delay our gratification, but we really need to. The Pied Piper will be paid. Truth number 4, the more vivid and detailed your future self, the faster you'll progress. There's a book called Vivid Vision. I don't remember the author, but he talks about this. Having that vivid vision of where you want to go will propel you forward to that. So one of my goals for this year is to run 4 marathons. Well, that means that I'm going to be doing something every day in preparation for each marathon. So because it's vivid, it's obvious, it's 4 marathons, it's probably quarterly. There's things I'm going to be doing every day. And I can get there. I can do that because I have a system. I've broken it down. Truth number 5 is failure as your future self is better than succeeding as your current self. I learned this from my dad years ago. He had me learn how to shear sheep, and he asked me, "How many are you going to do today, Marty?" And I said, "Well, I'm going to do 50. And Dad said, "Come on, Marty, you know you can do 50. Why don't you push yourself? Why don't you set a goal that's hard to get so that you'll try harder?" So I said, "Fine, I'll do 80. Well, I got 76 sheep sheared that day, and it was a heck of a lot more than 50, but it was because I set my goals high. And even though I didn't meet my goal of 80, I still did much more than I would have done had I had small goals. So failing as your future self, setting high goals, is better than succeeding as your current self. Truth number 6 is success is achieved by being true to your future self, nothing else. If we just go through life complacently, not really striving for anything, like we're not gonna be who we could potentially be. We have so much opportunity, especially in America, to live up and live out our full potential. But so oftentimes we push the complacency button, and we don't do anything with it. So be true to your future self and have true success. I guarantee the big accomplishments of your life that you look back and say, that was a big deal. You had a plan, you had a goal. Maybe it's getting married, maybe it's buying a car, maybe it's having a family. You did something, you planned, and by planning, you became successful at achieving it. So do that in other areas of your life. And truth number 7, your view of God impacts your future self. When we have a true understanding of God, it gives us a desire to serve and please and be a steward of what He's given us. And so truly, I believe as Christians, we have so much more opportunity because it's a stewardship principle from our Father to do more. And so I'm not saying you won't be successful if you don't follow God. Lots and lots of people would prove that to be true. They don't have to believe in God, but it does impact what your future self looks like and the things you go after. So there's I barely touched on this book, but it's a great book. I would highly recommend it. It's The Science of Intentional Transformation. So Be Your Future Self Now by Benjamin Hardy. We have so much potential, but a lot of time it is thinking about what our future self looks like and how we can be all that we're intended to be. So hope this is beneficial. Hey, just wanted to thank you guys for listening to the end. In closing, I just wanted to add that if this message resonates with you, if it aligns with your values and something in it today triggered something, then you can also look me up on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube. We are really trying to help people live more intentional lives to kill the complacency with which they have subscribed to. I know there's many ways which I get sucked in all the time. So if this is beneficial, follow me there, spread the message, share. And if you want to wear a billboard of a message of kill complacency or live intentionally, then check out my merch store in show notes as well. But it's www.mindsetshop.com. Mindset is with an X, so it's MINDXET shop, SHOP.com. Mindsetshop.com. Check it out. Thank you guys so much, and have a great one.
Thank you for listening to Kill Complacency. Follow and share our podcast to change lives and inspire growth.